Stop living someone else's life. You're doing everything you're supposed to do and doesn't quite feel like it's yours. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It's a quiet, subtle feeling. You say, I'll wait, or I'll change it later, or once I've earned it, I can feel XYZ. But underneath that is something quieter. When you're living a life that you haven't consciously chose, then the resistance doesn't stay emotional, it becomes structural. There are a few patterns that show up when this happens. You'll probably recognize them immediately. Pattern number 1, you rehearse everything, and I mean everything. Not just occasionally, habitually. You know what decisions you want to make, but you walk yourself through it over and over again. You prepare explanations for choices that you haven't even shared yet. You run future conversations in your head with your boss, with your partner, with your team members. And it's not to clarify your thinking, it's to make sure that it's received correctly, make sure that you feel justified. And over time, if you continue to do this, you'll find that you don't move until you've checked every single box, you've checked every single angle, and you feel justified enough to move. Here's why this pattern gets so strong. Your subconscious has one primary job, is to keep you safe. Not to keep you fulfilled, but to keep you safe. So every time you rehearse this idea of not trusting yourself, it learns that safety comes from checking everything outside of you. And over time, it becomes automatic. It stops feeling like a habit and it starts running as your normal program. Think of it as you are the author of your life, right? But you keep waiting for someone else to approve each draft. So nothing ever really gets written. It's not because you don't know what to say. You know what to say. But because you don't trust whether you're allowed to say it without permission. So you're losing trust in your own authority. Pattern number 2. You feel like you need external confirmation for everything. You already know the answers, and yet you keep asking everyone else around you all the time. You're asking for permission. I've seen this with my clients for decisions that they made internally. I'm talking really big decisions like career moves, decisions about relationship. And again, it's not that they're confused. They're just not used to deciding without some sort of approval. So it's like you're driving and you know exactly where you're going, but you keep on pulling over, asking people for directions when you know where you're going, but they have no clue. So ultimately, you're not trusting your own signal, your own direction. And every time you do that, you start to reinforce this idea that your internal voice isn't enough. Here's the part that most people miss. You're always listening to some sort of internal voice, but the question is it one aligned with who you are now? Or is it the internal voice that learned how to avoid rejection, loss, risk? That voice isn't you anymore. It got you where it needed to get you, but it's not you anymore. The third pattern, you built it, but it doesn't feel like you. You built what you said you wanted, the role, the relationship, the life that was supposed to mean that you had arrived. You made it. And instead of feeling grounded in it, it feels like something that you have to keep managing. That's why a lot of this is surfacing now, because a lot of people have followed the plan. They did what made sense. They checked all the boxes. They hit all the milestones, and it's supposed to feel like relief. It's supposed to feel like you've arrived. But there's this realization that everyone is having that this ain't it. This ain't it. And that's because it's been built from expectations that you've taken on and absorbed, and not from your own internal signal. So when success feels like it doesn't come from you, it turns into something that you have to maintain. It's not something that moves you. So then success starts to feel like maintenance because it feels safer. Through all of this, your value is inherent. It's not conditional. What changes is what you're willing to live from. The beliefs you identify with. The emotions that you treat as information. The version of yourself that you're letting lead, that's what your subconscious responds to, and reality reorganizes around that. So if this landed, I have a question for you. Before you move on from this video, ask yourself, what are you still asking permission for that you already know the answer to?